There is a photograph of a woman named Lupe taken in the summer of 1957 in San Antonio, Texas. She is standing in her backyard in a simple cotton dress, one hand shading her eyes from the afternoon sun, looking at the camera the way women looked at cameras then, with complete unself-conscious ease. She has 4 children. She works 6 days a week. She has never once been on a diet. She is 44 years old and she is slim. Not the kind of slim that requires effort or sacrifice or a plan. The kind that comes from a life organized in a specific way, around specific habits, that nobody ever called a diet because nobody in her house had ever needed that word. The women around her were the same. Her sister Remedios, who was 49. Her neighbor across the fence, who had 8 children and a waist that had not changed since her wedding. The women at her church, at the market, at the school gate. All of them slim in that same unforced way. All of them following the same unspoken rules. Rules that had nothing to do with calories or portion sizes or anything written in a magazine. Rules that moved from mother to daughter the way everything important moved, without explanation, without ceremony. Just, this is how we eat, mija, and now you know. Then the diet industry arrived with a different message. Your body is a problem. We have a system. Buy this, follow that, count these numbers, avoid those foods. It came in pills and programs and meal replacements and monthly subscription boxes. It came with before and after photographs and clinical language and promises that the way Lupe's mother had taught her to eat could not make, because it was not trying to sell her anything. The industry did not offer better results. It offered a problem where Lupe had never seen one. And once a woman believes her body is a problem, she will spend the rest of her life buying solutions. This video is what Lupe had, before the problem arrived. Before number 9, subscribe. This channel exists to find exactly what Lupe had and bring it back. Hit that button, then let's go. Number 9. She never drank anything sweet. In Lupe's house, the drinks were water, black coffee in the morning, and agua fresca made at home with very little sugar and whatever fruit was in season. On special occasions, there was a glass of something more. But the daily drink, the drink that went with every meal and filled the glass between meals, was water. Not juice, not soda, not anything that came in a bottle with a label promising vitamins. Her mother had never bought a sweet drink to serve with a regular meal. Her grandmother had never done it either. It was simply not how daily drinking worked in their household. Water was what the body needed. Everything else was occasional. The mechanism is straightforward. Liquid calories do not register in the brain the same way solid food calories do. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people who replaced caloric beverages with water consumed significantly fewer total daily calories without changing anything else about their diet or their habits. The hunger signals that tell the brain a meal is finished are not triggered by drinking. Lupe's mother did not know this research. What she knew was that her family drank water and her family was healthy, and those 2 facts had always been enough. The global diet beverage market, the low-calorie sodas and the vitamin waters and the detox drinks designed to help people manage what regular drinks put on them in the first place, is now worth over $200 billion a year. Lupe drank water. It came from the tap. Number 8. She ate her largest meal in the middle of the day and almost nothing at night. La comida was at 1 in the afternoon. That was the meal. The real meal, with multiple dishes and time given to it and everyone at the table. The evening meal was small. Leftovers, beans, a little something. Never the heaviest eating of the day. Night was for sleeping, not for digesting a full plate. Her mother had eaten this way. Her grandmother had eaten this way. The whole structure of the day organized eating around the sun, with the most food going in at the hours when the body was most active and the least going in when the day was ending and rest was coming. Chrononutrition, which is the science of when food is eaten and how timing affects how the body processes it, has produced consistent findings in recent decades. Studies published in the International Journal of Obesity found that people who consumed their largest meal earlier in the day lost significantly more weight and showed better metabolic markers than people who ate the same total calories but concentrated them in the evening. The body processes food differently depending on the hour. Lupe's household had understood this without knowing it had a name. The intermittent fasting industry, the apps and programs and meal timing systems built on the discovery that when you eat matters as much as what you eat, is now worth over $10 billion a year. Lupe ate a big lunch and a small supper. Her grandmother had done the same. Nobody had charged them for the schedule. Number 7. She walked to everything. The market was 6 blocks away and she walked it 3 times a week with a bag in each hand. The church was 8 blocks away and she walked it on Sunday with the children. The school was 4 blocks and she walked it twice a day. She did not think of any of this as exercise. It was how you got from one place to another when you did not own a car, which most families on her street did not, and which Lupe did not until she was in her late 30s. Her mother had walked. Her grandmother had walked. The body was designed to move through the day in small continuous amounts rather than sitting still for 8 hours and then performing dedicated exercise as a corrective measure. Daily incidental movement, the kind that is built into a life rather than scheduled into it, maintains a baseline metabolic rate that disappears almost entirely when movement is removed from ordinary life and replaced with a car and a desk and a gym membership 3 times a week if the week allows. The global fitness industry, the gym memberships and the fitness trackers and the home exercise equipment designed to give back to the body the movement that modern life removed from it, is now worth over $90 billion a year. Lupe walked to the market. The sidewalk was free. The bag handles left a mark on her palms, and she was slim until she was old. Number 6. She cooked everything herself and nothing came from a package. Every meal in Lupe's house started with ingredients. Dried beans soaked the night before, tomatoes from the yard or from the market, never from a can if she could help it. Masa for the tortillas made by hand the way her mother had made it. Nothing arrived at her table already assembled and already seasoned and already designed to make her want more of it than her body needed. Processed food is engineered to override the body's natural stopping signals. The combination of refined fats, refined sugars, and refined salt in ratios that do not occur in nature produces a response in the brain that makes the body continue eating past the point of fullness, which is why the serving size on a package and the amount a person actually eats are rarely the same number. Lupe's food did not do this. It was seasoned with the same spices her mother used, and it tasted like itself, and it satisfied her in the amount that a body is designed to be satisfied by real food. The ultra-processed food market is now worth over $4 trillion globally. Lupe cooked beans and rice and vegetables and meat in portions that cost almost nothing and took time. She had learned to organize the way her mother had organized it. Her body received food that it recognized, and it responded the way a body responds to food it recognizes, which is that it stopped being hungry when it had enough. Number 5. She never ate alone, and she never ate quickly. Every meal in Lupe's house was eaten at a table with other people and without any other activity happening at the same time. No radio on during meals, no reading, no distraction. Just the food and the conversation and the time it actually takes a human body to register that it has had enough, which is approximately 20 minutes from the first bite. Her mother had not allowed distracted eating. Her grandmother had not either. You sat down, you ate, you talked, you finished when you were finished. The meal was the meal, and it was given its full time. The research on eating speed is consistent. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that people who ate quickly were 3 times more likely to be overweight than people who ate slowly, independent of what they ate or how much. The stomach communicates fullness to the brain on a delay. Slow eating allows that signal to arrive before the plate is empty. Fast eating guarantees it arrives after. Lupe ate slowly. The table was the table, and there was nowhere else to be while the food was on it. Number 4. She fasted every Friday without thinking of it as fasting. In a Catholic household in the 1950s in San Antonio, Friday meant no meat. It meant a lighter day, a day of beans and eggs and simple things. It was not a diet. It was a religious practice that had organized one day out of every 7 around eating less and eating simply for as long as anyone in her family could remember. One day a week of reduced and simplified eating is, in the language of modern nutritional science, a form of periodic caloric restriction that has been shown in research to support metabolic health, reduce inflammation, and give the digestive system a recovery period it does not otherwise receive. Lupe did not know this. She knew it was Friday, and on Friday you ate simply and you did not complain about it because that was what Friday was for. Before number 2, subscribe if you have not already. This channel exists to recover exactly this. The button is right there. Number 2. She stopped eating before she was full. There was a point in every meal when Lupe put her fork down, not when the plate was empty, not when she could not eat another bite. Before that. At the point where she felt that the hunger was gone and her body was satisfied. That point came before fullness. She had been taught to recognize it and stop there. Her mother had taught her this specifically. You eat until you are no longer hungry, not until you cannot eat anymore. Those are 2 different places, and the women in their family stopped at the first one. This is the principle that Okinawan communities in Japan describe as hara, hachi, bu, eating until 80% full, which researchers studying the world's longest-lived populations have identified as one of the most consistent dietary habits among people who remain healthy and slim into very old age. Lupe's mother had never heard of Okinawa. She had learned it from her own mother in a kitchen in Michoacan, and she had passed it to Lupe at a table in San Antonio, and Lupe had followed it without a name for it her entire life. Number 1. She did not believe there was anything wrong with her body. This is the one. The diet industry that would eventually be worth over $300 billion a year was built on a single idea. Your body in its natural state is a problem. It requires management, correction, intervention. It needs to be smaller than it is, tighter than it is, different than it is. The products and the programs and the systems all begin from that premise. They sell the correction. But first, they sell the problem. Lupe did not have the problem. Her mother had looked at her body the way her mother had looked at her face, as something to be cared for and fed well and moved through the world with, not as a before photograph waiting for someone to decide what the after should look like. She ate the food her grandmother had eaten. She moved the way her grandmother had moved. She stopped when her body told her to stop. She did not count anything. She did not restrict anything. She did not follow a plan. All of the habits in this video worked together because none of them were trying to fix something that was not broken. They were simply the way eating worked in a household that had never been told it was doing it wrong. The water instead of soda and the big midday meal and the walk to the market and the beans cooked from scratch and the fork put down before the plate was empty. All of it was ordinary life. It was not a program. It was not a system. It had no name and no cost and no end date. The diet industry did not bury these habits because they did not work. It buried them because they worked too well to ever need a product. Lupe's daughter still cooks the beans the night before. She still eats her biggest meal at 1 in the afternoon. She still walks when she can walk instead of driving when she could drive. She did not get these habits from a book or an app or a program with a monthly fee. She got them from watching her mother move through a day, the same way her mother had watched hers. She thinks it is just how she lives. It is not just how she lives, it is something she remembered. Pick one thing from this list. Try it this week. Come back and tell me in the comments what changed.